If you have to filter based on Asia news items, if you want to filter based on metals and mining news, if you want to filter based on FX news, cryptocurrency news, how will you filter? You can't filter just based on keyword search. This is one way where there's an engine which goes through this news item and it understands what companies are mentioned and it stamps probability. So what you're seeing on my screen is a correlation. So the idea is to use the data, showcase the data, because without data, it's very difficult to even talk about any extracting signals or how people are using. So we will take LSEC data as an anchor. So what you're seeing on my screen is an Excel worksheet. I've deliberately made it simple so that we can understand. Typically, this is usually in JSON format or XML format. But what I want you to pay attention is that there are two tabs in this. One is a news file and one is a scores file. Now, this is one way in which if you were to ingest sentiment data into your trading strategies, this is one way the data looks like, because it's very important to understand data, because without understanding data, it's very difficult to build any kind of trading strategy or any kind of feature, if you want to talk in machine learning parlance. What is this worksheet talking about? Each row in this is a news item. So the first row here is a news item where there's a timestamp, there is a headline. What is the headline of the article? You also know what language is it written, some basic stuff like, okay, what is the source and what are the various subjects. So these are the subjects which are programmatically stamped on the news item. Why these are so programmatically stamped and what is the use of it? If you have to filter based on Asia news items, if you want to filter based on metals and mining news, if you want to filter based on FX news, cryptocurrency news, how will you filter? You can't filter just based on keyword search. The fact that there is metadata associated with this is a very good indication that you can filter these news items. One news item can contain multiple company mentions, company one, company two, company three. And for each of these companies, you probably have the data sets that I've shown you will give you a probability of positive sentiment, probability of negative sentiment, and probability of neutral sentiment. So this is a three-class probability, and based on whichever is high, either you get a -1 score or a 0 score or a 1 score. So it's a one-to-many relationship. This is one way where there's an engine which goes through this news item and it understands what companies are mentioned and it stamps probabilities. And that's what I've shown you right now. Let's say you can think of these as micro sentiments, if you use the word. Essentially, what this is doing is instead of bucketing everything into sentiment, you are getting a very specific term-wise sentiment, volatility sentiment, production volume, especially for something like commodity, production volume, consumption volume sentiment. These are all very important. Now, if you think about this data set, it's perfect in terms of ingesting into your trading models because it's a flat file, row column. You can take this data as is and start creating factors out of this and putting it into your trading model and so on and so forth. So this is one of the data sets that a lot of HFT firms used across the world. So what you're seeing on my screen is a very standard way of transcribing an event. So for example, if let's say here what we're saying is a Deutsche Bank, it has given some financial conference. As you know, most of these companies, big companies, they have these conferences. Once they announce earnings, they'll have an earnings conference. They will have conference to dish out various important aspects that are happening for the company. Now, when they are dishing out these news, typically in olden days, when I say olden days, maybe a decade ago, equity research analysts and whoever traders, portfolio managers, they used to log into these calls and ask questions saying, okay, what do you think is happening to this company? In an earnings call, people might ask, okay, why is this specific balance sheet item not up to the mark and so on and so forth. And of course, CEOs, CFOs, and whoever are the stakeholders of the company, they answer. And of course, based on how they answer, what they answer, the equity trading analyst or a portfolio manager takes a call. But this has become completely automated. When I say automated, the way in which this information is consumed today is automated, which means once there is an event that happens, automatically you see this software which transcribes what has happened. This is available in a programmatic manner. You can invoke a lot of NLP techniques on this specific text. So you can start seeing that this is not a data set or a form where you can actually import into some structured row column format and you immediately know what is being talked about. So for example, this is a massive transcript. Either you read it, that's one, which of course it doesn't scale, or you have some way in which you ingest this data, write NLP techniques to understand what is it saying, what is the sentiment of this? Who are the participants? What are they saying? So this is the raw material for NLP, and this has specifically gone up in the last 5 years. Where if you look at most of the transcripts that are generated, they are increasingly being fed into algos that look at these transcripts and churn out signals in terms of sentiment, in terms of what is it a buy, is it a sell, and so on and so forth. So what we will do right now is look at a few use cases of how sentiment is being used in trading strategies. Okay. Our first use case that a lot of clients are using this is as a price overlay. So what you're seeing on my screen is the blue line is the price of Alibaba, and the orange line is the sentiment. When I say sentiment, this is some kind of a summarized sentiment on a daily basis, because the sentiment data is high frequency data. So it's going to be a summarized information. If you look at actual raw sentiment, it's going to be like this, meaning on a daily basis, if you look at if you actually do take a let's say average sentiment, or you could probably do some summary statistic of the sentiment. It's going to fluctuate a lot. And if somebody sees this information, they might walk away thinking that, oh, this data is actually useless, because this for this company on a daily basis, the sentiment is moving so fast or so volatile. What can you make out of this sentiment? So this is where the first thing I would probably want you to pay attention is, most of the sentiment data that comes out of any place, whether you crunch yourself, whether you take data set from a vendor, it's going to be like this. It's going to be high frequency. It's going to be noisy. So even though we said, okay, if there is a text, you have to cleanse the text and then use it. Even in the case where you completely outsource it, meaning you don't want to do any cleansing, you just want to take somebody else's sentiment data and start using it in your trading applications. That's number one. Or you want to create your own sentiment and you start using this data, it is going to be noisy. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a simple filtering method, which is a Kalman filter. So these kind of filtering techniques are very, very, very common in quant space, where you take a high frequency signal and you then smoothen it out in a way that is probably it is grounded in some kind of a model when you filter it out. Now there must be some sense to this madness, right? There's all over the place. You want to remove noise. There are many ways to remove, as I said. One is what I've shown you here is state space models. It's called Kalman filter, and there are a variety of state space models. Remember where we are coming from. We looked at sentiment as a single value. If you remember, we saw this as sentiment as positive, negative, neutral. That's one way we saw. Then we looked at sentiment, which is multidimensional. And then we looked at, okay, if it's multidimensional, it gives you a much richer picture. Now, I did not say how it gives a much richer picture. Let me show you how we can do that. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take crude oil price, and I'm going to do a simple correlation plot between various factors here. So what you're seeing on my screen is a correlation between price and various sentiment factors. So you see that some of them, they're obvious candidates like volatility, supply versus demand forecast, violence. These are negatively correlated with the price. And some of them are positively correlated with the price, like trust, sentiment, price forecast, and so on and so forth.